Hello everyone and welcome back to F1 Gamepad and welcome to episode 2 of our My Team career here on F1 25. If you haven't seen the first episode, you should check that out before you get into this one. It covers all of the setup of our career, our first look at the new My Team 2.0 features, and of course, our first Grand Prix at Albert Park. It's the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend, but we have a few pieces of admin to take care of first as we stop by our office and review our performance from Australia. It was a disappointing weekend all round. We finished last overall in the race and P19 and P20, Joshua Dirtskin narrowly beating Victor Martins with 2 retirements from the race in Esteban Ocon and Max Verstappen. It's not too surprising that we were last, as our car is by far the worst on the grid. Until we start getting some upgrades on, we'll be struggling to move forward in any of the Grand Prix. That front wing damage after the contact with Ocon for Martins was certainly a factor in his finishing position. Having said that, we get news that despite our disappointing start, our relationship with our title sponsor has grown, and we have gained some more benefits from recent discussions. As for those upgrades, we do have a plank weight distribution part developed and ready to assign. Unfortunately, it's just one at this time, so we can only assign it to one driver. We're going to choose Victor Martins this time, and Josh is just going to have to wait a little longer for the part to be developed for his car. It looks like we have 7 days remaining on that floor stiffening aero part, so we are not going to be able to get that on the car before China, which is a little disappointing, but that's just the nature of our facilities at the moment, just a little bit slow moving. We also have a rear floor under tray development ready to manufacture. Again, we're going to miss getting on the car before China, but hopefully by the time we get to Bahrain, we will have it on at least one of our cars. We look at doing a couple of engine research projects, and we have one research project ready to develop for the turbo. I really want to keep improving our facilities, but we have unfortunately maxed out all of our slots for developments at the moment, so we're going to have to be patient there. It's essential to our success this season that we can speed up our car developments and start seeing some improved performance on the track. Weight reduction and tyre wear need to be the early priorities, I think. We take care of some activities before the Chinese Grand Prix. There's not much time given the quick turnaround between races, but we do manage to fit in a short sponsor discovery event before we head into the weekend. Unfortunately, a front wing aero research project gets delayed. I think that's our second such delay in the aero department so far, which is not ideal when we're so early in the season, but not much we can do about that right now, as we are about ready to head into the race weekend in China. It's a sprint weekend as well, which means a shortened practice, but also 2 opportunities to see if we can score points. The weather forecast says there could be some rain, so we have to stay awake and alert for opportunities that might arise. We're going to race as Victor Martins again and see if we can improve on our results in Australia. Okay, I think we're ready. Let's head to China.
Hello and welcome to Free Practice 1 from Shanghai International Circuit here in China. Now, over 20 years ago, this reclaimed marshland became a state-of-the-art facility that has borne witness to some of the most crucial and compelling moments in racing history. Today, it's all about gathering data for the tyres in these cool temperatures.
So with only an hour for practice, we set about our objectives early in the session. We complete our track acclimatization run plan, followed by our race strategy program without too many issues. The car is feeling reasonably good so far, I have to say. I'm not sure if it's the upgrade or whether I'm just getting more used to the game, but early doors we're doing alright. In hindsight, maybe I should have stopped at 3 laps on this race run and saved some tyres for the ERS management run plan. With limited sets available for the weekend, I was going to have to reuse these tyres, and they just weren't giving me the kind of grip I needed by the end of these 5 laps. I am a little worried, if I'm honest, going into this weekend. This track is notorious for heavy tyre wear, and we are already on the back foot there. As predicted, I did struggle to get anything out of the ERS program. I was either too slow or I used too much battery, and getting blocked by a slow-moving Alex Albon on my 3rd and final attempt put pay to any hope of completing the objective. I decided to call it a day and just head into sprint qualifying.
Welcome along to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
So here we are on our first flying lap of sprint qualifying. Running the medium tyres as mandated in the rules for SQ1 and SQ2, we are fueled for several laps as we cross the line, and it's a 1:37.3. Somewhere to start, but let's see if we can improve after a cool down lap. I'm going to let this one play out for you, and as you can see, we've probably timed our second lap to absolute perfection here, as we're going to get a lovely tow from Max. As long as we don't get too close and be affected by dirty air, we should improve.
Okay, I'm afraid we've been pushed down to P16.
We round the final corner and lose a little bit of time, but it's going to be 7/10 improvement, and that's P14, a couple of places above the cut-off point. We go again and see if we can improve to secure a place in SQ2.
30 seconds left in the session.
And we cross the line, P16 for the moment. But we're out. We're out by only 0.03 of a second. It's that close between Lewis Hamilton and ourselves. But we miss out on SQ2. So does our teammate, he also misses out. It's going to be P17 and P19 for the sprint race. Let's get to it and see what we can do.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight before the cars brake into the tight hairpin at turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Tsunoda, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Piastri, Russell, Sainz, Albon, and Pierre Gasly, Antonelli, Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, and Lawson, Behrman, Hadjar, Victor Martins, and Gabriel Bortoleto, Dirksen, Doohan, Stroll, and Fernando Alonso rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Well, Ant, we love this 11th team on the grid. They've certainly made an impact since they came into the sport. But without one person at the helm, I don't think we'd have seen what we've seen so far. Their team principal really is a character.
And you need these characters in Formula One, Croft. You need them as a driver. You want to have full trust in the person leading your team forward, that your feelings inside the car and about the team are going to be relayed and understood in the right way, and positive changes made.
Back of the grid, not great, I know, but let's just try and use the first lap to push your way up the order.
Yes, well, before we get started, we're going to take a look at what the rest of the field are starting on. Looks like it's a complete field of medium starters. Well, we're going to have some rain coming in the second part of this race, so that could cause some chaos. Normally, no pit stops in a sprint, but yeah, this one could be a little bit spicy. Let's get into it.
Good job, nice overtake. Radar suggests some weather's going to hit in around 5 minutes' time, so stay on your toes. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 0.5 seconds. Okay, I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being. flag. Okay, even though we're seeing cars start to struggle in these conditions, if we pit for Inters now, we're going to be too slow and we'll burn them out. Make the best of it for the time being. The weather's turning, we think it's time to box now. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by, 2.9 seconds. A few teams seem to be putting intermediates on now. Come on, let's go, and switch over if you need to. Okay, you're in the top 10. Caution, caution. Okay, clear. Okay, the stewards have now disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled. The rain's going to keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least. We've got a lot of spare energy, okay to use your overtake button. Okay, gap to the car ahead, 0.7 seconds. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix.
Well, that was a super close finish at the end there, but Charles Leclerc just about holds off Max Verstappen for the win. That's one Grand Prix win and one sprint win for him this season. We finished outside of the points, as like Leclerc, we decided to stay out on slicks. It almost paid off for us, but those last few laps were tricky. Overall, a decent result for us despite the lack of points. Joshua was unfortunately unable to work his way up the order and finishes in P18. There's no time to rest though, as we now head into qualifying for Sunday's Grand Prix.
Welcome along to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
So sprint done, out of the way, it's time for qualifying. We round the corner and we start our first flying lap.
Okay, we've been pushed down to P12.
And we cross the line, and that's going to be P6 for us currently. Obviously we fall down the order, and here we are on our second run, and it hasn't gone as well as I wanted it to. It's a bit of an awkward lap. And we're in Q2 for the first time in our My Team career mode. Come on! No surprise there to see Charles Leclerc setting the fastest time in Q1, but for us, the huge news is both our drivers make it out of Q1, beating out Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. Carlos Sainz is also out, Gabriel Bortoleto, Antonelli is also out, well that's a shock, followed by Oliver Behrman and Isaac Hadjar. Well, let's steel ourselves and let's see if we can go even better and get out of Q2. We cross the line, and that is briefly P1, but obviously that's going to change. We went out early on our first run because the weather forecast said it was going to rain, but no rain has come, and unfortunately for us, we have had a nightmare lap. We're over a second down, so I just decided to call it a day and bail, and that is qualifying over for us. Wow, we are actually P11 to start this race. That is our highest qualifying in this season so far. No one really improved. Let's see where our teammate is. He's in P16. Well, all that's left to be done is get into the Grand Prix.
It's time again then for Formula One in Shanghai. Northwest of the thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. It played host to Formula One's 1000th Grand Prix back in 2019. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today, home of the 16 corners that make up the Shanghai International Circuit. 54% of this 3.3-mile lap is taken at full throttle, and we'll be getting up to speeds of around 200 miles per hour with DRS assistance down the back straight before the cars break into the tight hairpin at turn 14. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso, Albon, Ocon, Lawson, and Victor Martins, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Jack Doohan, and Gasly, Dirksen, Stroll, Carlos Sainz, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Behrman, Hadja, Bortoletto, and Yuki Tsunoda rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And alongside me today, a man who I'm always pleased to see join me in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. And let's talk momentum with this driver. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Everybody looks like they're either starting on hards or mediums. I think we need to do something different. P11, we're actually starting P10, which obviously there's been a penalty or something happened there. And yeah, I think we have to do something different. So I'm actually going to start on the soft tyre. Now, I know I'm not going to get far into the race, but I might be able to just cause a bit of chaos, a bit of trouble early doors in the race. And yeah, and then just see how it goes. Rain's forecast, so really anything can happen.
Okay, incredible parking there. Nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights. Okay, DRS is now available. You might experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible. Try to stay with them. They might make a mistake and we could still regain the position. Tyre wear's higher than we're expecting. We've got a new strategy available on your MFD if you want it. Copy. All right, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in this strategy. So your ERS is running a bit low. Look into changing your ERS mode in the MFD for a more conservative burn rate, or you might want to try some lifting or gentle braking to recharge. Tyre wear's higher than we're expecting. We've got a new strategy available on your MFD if you want it. Confirmed. strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. The weather's turning, we think it's time to box now. Got that, confirmed. Pit now, pit now. The tyre situation's an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got for now. Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, conditions are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least. If you think you can get past, make use of the overtake button and see what you can do. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace. Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until we get the green flags. VSC ending, wait for the greens. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 0.7 seconds. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've absolutely loved watching that action today, and I'm sure these three have loved taking part. Here come our podium finishers. One of the all-time greats celebrates yet again. It's another podium, it's another top step for Max Verstappen. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
So Max Verstappen wins the Chinese Grand Prix and takes all 25 points. Charles Leclerc finishes in second and Lando Norris in P3. And the rest of the top 10, Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon, George Russell, Oliver Behrman, and Kimi Antonelli. Both Behrman and Antonelli fighting their way from the back of the grid to finish in the points. No such luck for us. In hindsight, it was probably a terrible decision to start on the soft tyre. I think it proved to be our downfall in this race, but no denying that our longer race pace isn't there yet, and it's just the same result in Australia, only the drivers are flipped. Let's take a look at the driver standings. Charles Leclerc remains at the top of the pile, with Lando Norris in second place. Big gains this week for Max, finishing in P2 in the sprint and winning the race. He's in P3. Ferrari remain top of the Constructors' Championship, but McLaren have closed the gap slightly in P2, with Red Bull in third, Williams in fourth, and Mercedes in fifth place. That's it for this video. It was a bumper one with 2 races for the price of 1. Thank you so much for watching. Join us next time where we will be looking to improve in Bahrain. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign. a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
That's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, cause society's a myth put there to make you sit. Listen to what they give. Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run